it's Belinda, Aussie Stitcher, coming to you on the 6th of July 2024. How is everyone going? So I have a bit of a life update, some 6 whips, and some plans of some different types of videos that I'm hoping to get done. So if you're new here, I do life update here, because what happens is by the time I get to the end of the video, I'm kind of done and I don't want to do it. I don't tend to go more than a couple of minutes, 5 at the most, if you want to fast forward. So after I spoke to you guys, we ended up having 120 mils of rain over 3 days. It was like amazing. And putting this in perspective, we had around 120 mils for the whole of last year, and we probably average around 200 mils for a growing, for the year. So, it was amazing. And then like 2 weeks later, we ended up with another 33 mils, and now my tanks are full, bar maybe the really big one, which is like that far from the top. It's just amazing. Everything looks green. If I have any good photos, I'll stick in here. It's just the difference. It is really cold and windy. We were supposed to go for a bushwalk today, and I'm debating whether we do it at all. Maybe it'll be a this afternoon thing, because it is windy, it is cold, it is just good inside stitching weather though, or playing board games and watching movies, depending. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's been amazing. Completely different season to last year. So much more yay, happy, positivity, just awesome. We're expecting to have a wildflower season this year compared to the nothing last year. Everywhere, it's just, wherever you go is so much happier. Now, I think during my last video, I mentioned that Michaela fractured her wrist. So she had a back slab on for a couple of weeks, and then she had a soft cast on, and that came off 1st of July. Start of school holidays for her. She's happy. Everything's going well with that. Iona has just come back off from being a week on the Lewin. A Lewin is a sailing ship that I think it's from 14 to 25-year-olds can go on, and it's a working sailing boat. If I've got some photos of the Lewin, I'll stick it in here, plus with Iona's permission, if she gives it to me. If you don't see it, she didn't give permission, of her standing in front of the Lewin. Sophie did the Lewin 2 times, and now she is got asked to be a volunteer. She starts off as a bosun's mate, and she's going to go back on it in January. So she had a blast. She climbed masks, she scrubbed decks, they did watches where, you get up in the middle of the night and you watch. Learnt different skills, learnt non-skills. She told us a story how they got taught to play poker. Proper poker, not just, your ordinary, how, I suppose, unless you're doing it properly, how to play poker. It's a skill that she now knows. But she loved it. Surprisingly, she really liked it and would like to go back on it again. Don't think she liked the minute showers or getting woken up randomly through the night for your night shift, night watch. But she came back very positive about it. Yeah, that's about it. We're in the middle of school holidays. Literally, this is the middle weekend. Got another week. I'm still working, but the kids have been pretty good, doing stuff around the house, just playing. Hopefully next weekend we're gonna go to Geraldton, which is the closest city. That's like a 2-ish hour drive. And we're gonna go to the cinemas and do stuff like that. So yeah. That's it. That's our life update. Onto the stitching. I had a reasonably stitching month. I stitched on 6 whips, almost had a new start, and it just didn't happen. I didn't like the fabric. Loved it to begin with, but then when I actually started just stitching the color on it, and I didn't bring it to show, but I will, it'll be in a future video. But I had 7 no stitching days between work, life, everything, which is, I average probably anywhere between 4 to 7. So that's pretty average for me. I would like, in theory, to get down to, I don't know, 4 maybe. And what I consider a stitching day is that I've done a minimum of 100 stitches. So I've sat down for roughly an hour, depending on the whip, and I've got 100 stitches in. But I stitched for a grand total, which is pretty darn good, 5,489 stitches. I'm very, very happy with that. I aim for hoping to get around 5,000. So anything above that is magnificent. And if I get less than that, that's okay. It usually means life's been pretty busy. So let's get started. The first whip I stitched on was Vintage Birds, and it's living in this bag, which is upside down, by StitchNButyon. Now, Vintage Bird is my focus on a finish. If you're new here, I have 5 focus, 5? I can remember 1, 2, 3, no, 4 focuses on a finish. 1, and then 4 whips that I guarantee work on every month. 1 whip I work on for 3 months and then rotate between another couple of whips, and then I randomly draw a whip to work on for one whip a month. I'm sorry if that's really confusing. It works for me. And I've got a phone call. I'll be back. Right, sorry about that. That was my husband. He is busy spreading urea out on our crops and just needed me to help organize his lunch, where he loads and goes back out and does it. Right, so where were we? Vintage Birds. So this is my new focus on a finish. So I'll work on this every month until it's done. But Jeanette Douglas started this for Stitching May's birthday a couple of years ago. Now this has some specialty stitches. There were some specialty stitches in here, which I didn't end up doing. I just ended up doing straight crosses because I didn't like the look of them. But I am going to try and do the eyelids, I think they are. Let's have a look. What are they specifically called? Algerian eyelets. I am going to try and do them through here. But I did 978 stitches. And I'm stitching this on like an 36 count ivory color. And I'm using this cord fork thread. So there is like the Gentle Art, and then just to keep them a bit separate in this little stitching pouch, I have the Weeks. There is a lot of threads, beautiful ones though, for this very smallish whip. Okay, sorry, it is 36 count antique ivory. Sorry. Let's be organized, shall we? Oh, I've got black stuff over my hands. Not sure how that happened, but sorry people. Anyway, it's mostly off. So here we are. And I stitched these flowers and flower pots. And as you can see, I did the cross stitches, not the specialty stitches, and I also stitched the P. And you might notice that the alphabet is a little bit different. What I did was that, okay, we're gonna have to go over here a bit. Let's just, oh God, there we go, that's probably a bit better. The light is suddenly coming through very bright. I got the family to pick out their favorite colors, and I changed the initials to the color to match our initials. So this was the color I picked in B, hubby picked this one, Iona picked this one, Michaela picked this one. We've got S and W's to still come. I do love this a lot. I love the colors. It's really awesome to stitch. Right, next I stitched on was Day Nymph, and this was my last rotation for the 3 monthly, and all up I got an amazing amount of progress. So Day Nymph by Mirabilia, using the cord for Valdari threads, and I don't necessarily love them. Been stitching a lot better, but originally, oh, that's not it. Originally, they were breaking a lot. Wouldn't get far and they just snapped. But been better the last couple of times. Right. Where's my card with all my information on it? This is stitched on 32 count Belfast by Under the Sea fabric, and it's called ZEPHYRUS. And this is in a bag gifted to me by my friend Melody. Love it. So I did 1,000 stitches exactly. So I finished off the wings and did some of the body. And I don't honestly have that much more to go. So the plan is, once I finish Autumn Queen, I will pull this out and work on it till it's finished. It is a really small, beautiful whip to stitch. Yeah, if I go that way, the sun's gonna blow it out. What I might do is just pause this again and close that curtain because it really isn't working. All right, we are back. Let's see. Definitely better. So yeah, loved it. And as I said, the threads this time worked really well. I just remember one of the times, I think I was working that darker outline of the wing, and it snapped so much that I was getting very annoyed. Sorry for the zip sound. Autumn Queen is what I stitch next, and it's in this Emily C bag, Collecting Possessions, but she no longer makes bags. Flick. They're getting up and down, hair's starting to get frizzy again. Right, this is Autumn Queen by Mirabilia. And this is stitched on 32 count Belfast in Ancient by Picture This Plus. And I got 1,154 stitches done. And I basically worked through here up. This is what it looks like fully. Lots of sparkles in here. This is quite sparkly as well. I'm on track to finish it this year, but I am looking at an end of year finish with this. Because by the time I do the stitches, then you've got to bead it. And it's quite a big project for beading as well. Right, after Awesome Queen, I stitched on Tree of Hope. And Tree of Hope is in this Stitch and Button bag. And it's another Mirabilia. There we go. And this one is just beautiful with all the silks. Now there is an error in naming one of the silks. I think it's this one. The original one is like 224 and it's a peachy color. Look up the Witch Halt corrections and you'll get the correct one. I think it's 244. And this is stitched on Bright Sky 28 count Brittany Even Weave by Fancy Fabrics, which is an Australian dyer. And I actually think I got this one from a Stitch in Time in Hobart, the online store. This was a restart last year and I didn't want to restart in the same place, so I did something a little bit different and did on top of the tree. I normally start in the middle. There we go. So I basically just went across and brought it down. Got to use some silks. Now this is not going to be the never-ending dress. This is going to be the never-ending tree. This is going to take quite a few stitching sessions. And this won't come out again for a while because this was my once a year, like in that I pick a one randomly to stitch on for about 1,000 stitches, and it's a different one every month. Then I stitched Outback Storm. And Outback Storm is in this bag, also made by my friend Melody. These are really good for the big projects. Here you'll be seeing a preview. And this is probably the only whip I ever, a lot of the times, keep on a frame. I'm not a big keep on my frame because it can, for me, it has stretched a couple of projects if I've left them on too long. So I did 1,010 stitches. And here we are. And I basically did some more in the tree, and then I came up here for some non-confetti stitching because that tree is hard work. And this is stitched on 20 count Hardanger, and I wouldn't recommend it. 2/2. It can slip the threads. And lastly, but not least, I actually got to finish off what I wanted to work on in Inspirations. So this was my first 3 monthly whip for the year. And then when I finished it, I had just a little bit left to finish the top row. And I went, yep, I want to do that. And I did it was 297 stitches with a heck of a lot of back stitch, which I don't tend to count. So this is also in an Emily C. Eclectic Processions bag. And as I said, 32 count Gold Digger's Map by Colour Cascade, who is back dyeing. And as you can see, I finished off the row over here. So that's the top row fully done. And I'm going to keep this as my 3 monthly project next year, so this will come out again next year. And I've forgotten one. I forgot Anzac. And it's not written down. Why is it not written down here? Did I not stitch on Anzac? Pretty sure I would have done. Hold please. Vintage birds. Anzac. So I actually did I write it in here? No, so I actually did 6,000 stitches a month, over 6,000 stitches. Right. It's even more amazing than I thought. In this Stitch and Button bag, I did Anzac. Oops. And this is stitched on a 32 count fabric by a dyer that I'm not really sure of. And I did 1,052 stitches in the early of June. So there we are. Let's just get the top up and then we'll bring it in. Oh God, go this way. So that's it all at the moment. And then I stitched in here. I did, I think over here. Yeah, I'm starting the last page. So I don't know if I finished this page, and then I came up into this one. Can't quite remember. No, I did the whale the last time, so I stitched this. Sorry about that. And this comes out every month until it's finished, which is on track to be finished next year. And that's it. That is my stitching and a slightly muddle up video. So I have a couple of videos planned. I don't know when exactly it, you know, kids, farming, work, you name it, it's got to fit in. I want to do a video on my plans for next year. I have already pulled the 4 whips that I'm going to do one every 3 months. Plus I've done a random draw of 12 whips that I'll work 1 a month. Plus my plans on my focus whips. So I'm going to do a separate video on that. That way if you're not really interested, you can skip it. I have roughly 45 whips, so there's always whips that I don't touch. And depending on your opinion, when I do an end of year whip parade, which is around October, November, because that's our harvest time and I can sit down and do it. I had planned on this year just showing you the whips that I worked on so that you can see the progress. Would you like that? Or would you like a full-on 45-ish whips? Totally up to you. I may in that plans video show a couple of starts that I want to do, or I might show them in other videos that I have planned, and they are going through my stash, or not necessarily my stash per se, because you'll be seeing some of my whips as well. A couple of years ago, I'm thinking about 5, I did a videos on like all my Mirabilias, all my Joan Elliott's and others, and I'm thinking I'm going to do that again because a lot's changed. Some of those whips that some of those whips have been UFO'd, some have been restarted, some stash I just no longer have, no longer like. I'm not as into the full coverage as I used to be. I had great plans, but the reality is Outback Storm and the 2 others that I want to focus on, that's going to last me my lifetime. If I get 3 pages done of Outback Storm a year, it's going to take me a good 10 plus years to finish. That's the reality. So I am planning to do a memorabilia stash and whip and maybe finish video. Same with my Joan Elliott. Oh my God. Can you run and get me your Joan Elliott pillow, please? I forgot to show you. I fully finished. Totally forgot about it again. And then we'll go through maybe my others like full coverage and samplers, and then I might do a separate one for long dog sampler, which I had talked previously about doing. So if you're still here, this is my fully finished. I didn't do this. A lady in town is amazing with the sewing machine, and I basically gave her free range to do whatever she wanted. I probably would have cropped it a bit closer, but she liked the idea of a big pillow with big ruffles, and honestly Michaela loves it. So, and we can swap out the pillow, which I think she made as well. Yes, she did. To be for another one if we wanted to. But for now, this is awesome. I finished this earlier this year. And now this sits on Michaela's bed. So that's it. That's me done if you made it this far. So yeah, give an opinion if you would like a full whip parade or just what I've worked on this year. But those are my upcoming videos besides my normal monthly update. I will do a plans video for next year, a memorabilia parade, Joan Elliott, long dog sampler, and the rest. I remember when I did it 5 years ago, which is why I haven't done it since, it got very overwhelming about how much stuff I had. But I think I'm in a lot happier place, and I have a lot of stuff that I really want to work on and really want to stitch and see finished, and that's a bit different than what it was like 5 years ago, where you know you see all the bright and shiny things and you want them all. I'm very much more thinking about what will I stitch, what will go up on the wall, who I wanted to gift it to, things like that. All right, that's me done. I will leave and hope everyone has a great stitching day. Catch you next time. Bye.